Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Gomu Gomu No Talk podcast. I'm your host, Lyle. I also go by our boy online, and here with me is my co-host, Austin. So, what's up, Austin?
What's up? What's up? Welcome back, lads.
Welcome back. And if you guys are unfamiliar with the pod, um, it's just a podcast where we talk about the whole One Piece weekly. It's like kind of like a weekly recap.
Mhm.
We do chapter reviews, we do episode reviews, we talk about theories, we talk about news, just news in general, and anything whatever our Straw Hat crew has got going on in the world of One Piece. This past week has not really been anything crazy at all. We just got one little short episode. Short, it's just one episode.
Mhm.
Um, was episode 1140.
Yep.
What was the name of the episode again?
An admired hero, the warrior of liberation who saves Bonnie.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, so this week we're just gonna be talking about that. There wasn't a manga chapter that came out yet, so
Mm-hmm. Sag.
sad indeed. Yeah, I guess we can. We could just start talking about what's going on in the episode.
Yeah, we can just jump right into it. Again, there really wasn't much news that came this week, so we had 1140, um, and we're kind of continuing off where we left off with last episode. The Buster Call is still going on, and we can actually see the Buster Call going off now. And I know me and Lau kind of had a little talk about this earlier, but you can see that the destruction of Egghead is starting to occur, and me and Lau have different views on the use of CGI in this episode, but you very clearly see that during I guess the Buster Call, you can see the explosions going on and the buildings exploding. It's a lot of CGI, as well as like even the ships themselves shooting. But
It reminds me of the trash anime, Gacha
yeah,
Kira. For
gotcha
some reason,
Akira.
I just don't like the CGI in general.
Hmm.
But also, I didn't watch all of Wano. I read it, and also was telling me that it's a lot better than
I
what
will
than
say
what's going
we've
on
come a
in
long
Wano.
way when it comes to One Piece using CGI. And like one thing that I said that I thought was really nice was that I feel like when you use CGI on characters, it looks really weird, especially since they are drawn out in 2D. But when you use it on like buildings and explosions, it looks a little bit better. Maybe because I guess in the scenes that we saw like where they were using CGI, there was no characters. It was just more of showing buildings and the destruction of buildings. So I personally I didn't think it was too out of place. You could definitely tell there was a bit of a difference, but I thought it was like fine the way they used it. But I guess during while
Um,
all this is going on, the Marines have surrounded Luffy, who we saw last episode. He's completely stuffed, and he kind of just tells them to like piss off, and he's just trying to digest all the food that he ate. Um, and I felt like this was for me was like where I was excited like last episode, seeing Luffy starting to get back into things after being out of it for like I don't even know how many episodes. But
yeah, he started off the shit fat as fuck, bro,
yeah.
looking like a goddamn unit. And then I thought it was pretty funny. Like the whole navy was like surrounding him, and I'm like, all right, we gotta let's just put these fucking shackles on him, man. And they see him just I would
Mhm.
have gotten the order of these things wrong, but they just see him just his gut just disappear,
Mhm.
right, in real time. There's no way he just there's no he's not human. Like there's no way he just digested that fast. You guys don't know Luffy's an eater, bro, for real.
Yeah.
And
He he digests all that food, and then I forgot what happened. Maybe I think it was some sort of explosion, but like the Marines are surrounded by fog, and again, Law said they had the cuffs and they were ready to go in, but again they hear Luffy laughing hysterically, and as a manga reader and anime watcher, we all know what that means. The ground underneath the Marines become rubbery. Um, and then we begin to hear the drums of liberation, and next thing you see is Gear 5 Luffy is finally back. And I kind of like the reactions the Marines had, because they like a second ago they were just like, "Ayo, let's cup him and dip, you know. But as soon as they saw that Luffy's back in Gear 5, they were just like, we gotta get the hell out of here, you know.
Yeah. Um, it is. It's pretty cool, what they got going on. Like I thought the whole terrain, like just changing or turning rubbery was pretty sick. And you see like later in this episode where he just turns the whole city, the whole
Mhm.
island just becomes like rubbery. And I thought like it starts like swaying back and forth. We'll get into it later on when we get there, but it's just talking about just him just changing this whole fucking everything around him. It's sick.
Mhm.
I will admit. We get into like we see like we go into uh Bonnie and the crew. I think it's
Mhm.
Bonnie, Frankie, Atlas, and like Sanji. They're they're trying to get away with Kuma as well. And we see like the whole like army of pacifistas are just like about to rain down some fucking hellhole
Yeah.
just at Bonnie. But Bonnie it's like stop, like Kuma or Daddy,
Yeah.
whatever, asked her to just like chill the fuck out, like like not hit them, and we see that the pacifistas they still listen
Mhm.
to Bonnie, and they turn back and they start attacking the ships, and that's when we learned Vegapunk actually had programmed Kuma, the pacifistas to still at the very least like above everything just listen to Bonnie. The
Yeah.
Bonnie's voice is the highest order of the command chain, and right as he's talking about this, I thought I really like this little monologue you had,
Mhm.
talking about it, and he just gets fucking donated by fucking Saturn. Like
Yeah.
right, like Saturn is pissed
No,
because
yeah.
Saturn knows he's in deep shit. He kind of just let this happen a
I
little
mean,
bit.
even before this, Saturn was like already ordering them to kill Vegapunk. But I guess this was kind of like the last straw and the last betrayal that he could take. But he stabs Vegapunk right through the chest, and immediately tells Kizaru to eliminate the rest of them. I guess Kuma and Bonnie. And
Yeah.
I think this is where we see, Sanji sees Kizaru going to eliminate them, and he goes to stop him, but bro, it's Kizaru. This guy's moves at the speed of light. He's just completely sidesteps Sanji pretty much, and he goes to cut Bonnie and Kuma in half, and while he's doing this action, all you can hear is again Luffy laughing hysterically, and you just see his hockey fist like coming in from the side of the screen, and I don't know why I thought this was so goofy because when he hits Kizaru, like I don't know what sound effect they played, but it was like to me it sounded like the frying pan like sound effect, when he hits when he bonks Kizaru. Um, and I get again, this is like their reaction to seeing Gear 5 Luffy again. I thought it was really interesting because whenever you see Gear 5 Luffy, you also see all the buildings kind of like, I guess they were like, you could say they're like dancing, like they were just bouncing
Mhm.
left and right, left, right. And, he punches Kizaru away. Bonnie, Atlas, Sanji, Frankie, Kuma, they all land right in front of Saturn. And, I think Luffy makes his way um, to them, and as he's doing this, it slowly cuts to the giant robot on Egghead, and you can see that it's starting to move. It moves its head up, and its eyes begin to start glowing. And this is very similar to Wano when we saw I guess like Zunisha react to Gear 5 Luffy. I actually really like this part of the episode, but I felt like as a manga reader, this was actually such a crazy moment because we were just like, dude, what is up with this big ass robot on Egghead, like this super ancient robot that they keep talking about,
Yeah.
and
No, that's
then
that's
mhm,
that's pretty no. It's funny you mentioned that part of Zanisha.
yeah,
Because like as you were explaining to me, like as you were explaining it just now, it's like that's like what I was just seeing too. And I do remember reading it like we kept going back to the robot. It's like,
Mhm.
who the fuck?
Like
What the fuck is going
what
on
does
with
this
this guy?
play into the story at all? You know, like this huge
We'll
ancient
see.
robot. But
We'll see
yeah,
later
it's
on,
finally
man.
coming into action.
Yep.
And then right after this, we can see that Bonnie recognizes I think it's like the drums of liberation, but the rhythm that's like associated with Luffy,
Bun, chun,
who
chun,
she
bun,
now
chun, chun, chun.
knows, yeah, is Nika, and this is the exact moment that she kind of realizes that Luffy is Nika, and tears immediately begin to swell in her eyes. Um, and then right after this, we see that a ship is coming to was it Egghead, and again CGI ships in the water, which this part I thought actually looked pretty good. I'm gonna be honest. Um, and obviously we all know it's the giant pirates, Dory and Bragi. I don't remember the last time we
Yes,
saw them.
their entrance was so sick on this episode. I really like their entrance for going into this.
Mhm.
Um, I like I mentioned the CGI. I did not like the CGI on like the beginning of this episode, but the CGI on this one I thought was pretty cool. I thought
Mhm.
like we talked about it in our the video we just like recorded, the ship video, but like the I wasn't even on the fucking field, right? I'm just a watcher, and I felt the fucking fear. Like,
Bro,
oh my
I was
god,
there. I was on Egghead when this all happened. No, yeah, that ship, like it's crazy to see because especially with the use of CGI, how big the ship is, and also how fast it's coming. You would think that like a bigger ship would move slower, but I guess like in this scene, it's literally charging right at all these Navy warships straight to Egghead, and I mean, again, I think this ship needs to be studied, dude, because all the Navy warships they change the orders and they begin to blast the giant ship, and we see literally negative damage, like absolutely. I'm like, is this a buster call? Because literally no damage is being done to this ship, and Dory and Bragi make their way, and I mean, I thought their entrance when they jump onto the warships. I mean, this was a
oh my
pretty grand
god,
entrance.
they fucking they landed on the warships. Like, holy shit, this ship can hold you.
No,
I'm like,
literally.
god damn, some big motherfuckers, and it kind of just stops there. But I'm like, dude, this is
Mhm.
pretty fucking cool, man. There's one thing I did want to ask you about, like, how would it like because there's a lot of discourse on Twitter. People didn't like the scene where Bonnie saw Nika,
Mhm.
right, for in her own eyes. What did you think about that?
Mhm.
Because people
Yeah,
say like
I also saw that as well.
the anime didn't do it justice for how important of a moment it is. But at the same time, I'm just like I feel like it was a one-on-one like
Yeah, I was kind of
replication of
surprised.
what was
I
in
literally
manga.
just saw that like maybe a few hours ago, and yeah, I'm also surprised because I felt like it was a pretty decent one-on-one, especially like from manga to the anime. Like again, I'm not really sure exactly what they wanted to be honest, but I felt like it went exactly as like I envisioned it
As
in my head
expected.
when I was reading it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really know what they were kind of like dissatisfied with specifically. I didn't really like read too much into it. I just saw that there was a bit of discourse on that specific scene. But I
Yeah.
mean I
Um.
thought it was good.
Yeah, I'd say so. I
It's,
I didn't really like the episode that
mhm.
much. To be honest, I guess we can go into our ratings.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the episode that much. I feel like I just I was just kind of slogging through it. I thought the
Mhm.
ending was super cool. I think
Yeah.
my favorite parts of this episode was Luffy punching Kizaru
Mhm.
out of the fucking air. I thought that was so funny. Ding ding
Yeah.
ding, the cartoon
Yeah.
ass sound effect. I thought Dorian Broggy pulling up was probably the best part.
Mhm.
And everything else I didn't really like. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like the whole thing with like when Vegapunk was talking about like, oh, like it's gonna listen to Bonnie the most, like the
Yeah.
highest command. and then he gets stabbed. I thought it was very emotional, but you know, nothing. I don't know. It
I
didn't
was
really
gonna
hit for
say,
me.
I
Everything.
don't think anybody was surprised by Vegapunk getting stabbed by Saturn. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Saturn was pissed. I think
Mhm.
for me, this episode was like a 4 out of 10.
Oh, interesting.
IMO.
Yeah, I don't.
I
Me and Law already had a previous discussion about this, so I knew he didn't really like the episode that much. Well, 4 out of 10. Okay. I mean, I respect it. I respect it though. Again, I think there's a lot of discourse on this episode itself online. But I think I come from a different standpoint. I actually enjoyed this episode. So
yeah.
maybe we could see the dichotomy in our ratings. But I surprisingly I gave this episode like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Um
Okay.
I felt like, again, it's one of those episodes that feels like, again, it's a bit more setup, especially since we know what is gonna happen later on in Egghead. And I mean I'm right with you where I'm just like I want to see everything pop off already, you know. But I
Yeah.
feel like what carried this episode was obviously, Gear 5 Luffy's finally back. He's already began to start fighting Kizaru in this episode. Dory and Bragi have finally made their way onto Egghead. I thought that was super hype, especially their super grand entrance. Um, I actually really like the Vegapunk flashback. Like, he has this little internal monologue there, in which he uh he kind of talks about like when he's doing all of these experiments, turning Kuma into a robot, creating the pacifistas. He literally only had one concern, and that was that Bonnie in the future might be harmed by Kuma himself or by the pacifistas who look like Kuma, and that he personally, like, morally couldn't allow that to happen, and that's why he programmed something into all the pacifistas as well as Kuma himself. And I also like the little scene that they showed, especially when Bonnie turns to all the pacifistas and is just like, "Don't shoot, help us escape." There's like this little scene where it looks like you can see the chip on the pacifistas, and it just shows it's what's it called? It's one of the sapphire scales, like, in the middle, and it begins to light up, and it shows that all the pacifistas are program like have this additional programming that Vegapunk added. So I thought the little details were really good in this episode, so I actually enjoyed it. But I do agree with you with what you said. Like, there were parts in this episode where I felt like I was kind of slugging along. Like, I had to check the length of the episode a few times as I was watching. I was like, oh damn, we're not even halfway yet. But I actually enjoyed it a lot. Again, I think it's one of those episodes where we all know what's about to happen in Egghead soon, and this is just another stepping stone towards that. But eh, again, I feel like it kind of sucks that we only had this anime episode this week, especially with how many breaks he's kind of been taking on and off recently. So I don't know. I felt like this was fine for me though, at least.
Um. Yeah. I need these chapters to keep coming back, man.
I
I need
know.
the chapters. Oh my God, Oda. I trust. Next week, I think next week we'll have a chapter.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So next week. And then so I guess the official chapter that we reviewed last week is coming out this weekend then, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
And we'll probably get a
so
leak next week.
so most likely we will be getting a leak next week. And I guess that's what you guys should be looking forward to next week is us reviewing 1141 as well as the next leak, which should be
58.
1158.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see that actually. But I guess this was just a short and sweet episode. Nothing really much happened this week in terms of, like, the anime and manga. It was just another regular anime episode, and I feel like for us that's why we also recorded a separate video. If you haven't checked that out, please go check that out. It's our boat tier list video. We rank every single boat in One Piece besides like two that I just didn't even feel like were worth ranking, to be honest.
Dude, yeah, that's a banger video, bro.
Yeah.
It's a long one. It's a long one. There's a lot of content inside it.
Mhm.
You should check that out. Also, yeah, like Austin like talked about before. Next week, just expect us to do. We're gonna do chapter review. Leak hopefully comes out without any setbacks, and a new episode review.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, man. I mean, is there anything else you want to add before we sign ourselves out?
No, I think that's it. Go check out that video. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, peace out. Later, fellas.